I think the first part of that breakdown, I'm actually going to expand the audio over from IG because sure enough, we had our mic muted there. But yeah, just to quickly recap where we left off. Nora, not impressed with her takedown defense. I like her striking. I'm going to exploit that in future fades by just looking at who Nora's facing. And if they can mix it pretty well and grapple better yet, then I like the idea of Nora getting finished on the ground via ground and pounder submission. But was happy I took her in the fight nonetheless. She had a submission of her own. Doesn't happen often. Gore going back and forth with Marco Tulio. Tulio all gas, no brakes, having huge success mixing in crisp boxing, powerful jabs, snapping the head back of Gore, powerful kicks, going high, ends up setting up the final, fatal recipe for Gore up against the cage. Got sat down on his ass like a baby, fed a lullaby. He's out. Tulio's weakness is the fact that he has no defense in his striking. He will get finished fighting like this and have a much shorter career. So if he cleans it up and keeps it more technical, I like his ability and his finishing prowess with the power and the speed. Moving up, so at this point we're hitting fighter and distance, 100%. Moving up, I took Simidarji. I liked him via decision or the chance of knockout. I know he wins mostly by knockout, but I respected the fact that we're going up in opposition and we're fighting at flyweight and that his opponent was going to be very grapple heavy. So I figured it'd be a split decision at the very worst. The fight should have unraveled as a unanimous decision. One of the judges will investigate further. Fucking gave it to Mitch. So that was like the first foul. Like, okay, that makes no sense. Total strikes. This is Mitch's stats. 13 of 30 strikes total, 9 of which significant. Takedown defense, 6 of 19, and control time, 4 minutes. Versus 78 strikes out of 150, 45 of which significant. A lot of leg kicks, a lot of shots to the head. No takedown attempts or control time. But yeah, you got to be able to let the hands go. You got to be able to strike or threaten submissions. Wrestling alone won't win you fights. And it's becoming a talking point as of only recent. So just as a quick reminder, you can't show up like Danny Sabatini or whatever that dude from Penn State was over in Bellator. Win and have a 15-minute fight, nearly 15 minutes of control time if you don't choke or strike. Period. Okay. Now that we're caught up, again, Simidarji fight, indifferent about distance, stayed away. I did like him via money line, being the size and the expertise and well-roundedness. It was enough to secure a win there as well. Moving up the card, this one was probably one of the biggest donations of the entire Miami props, taking Michael by knockout. Gets the job done. Dumas, 50% of those wins coming via knockout loss. I knew that the fight wasn't going the distance, so we hammered that extra nicely on distance. Only 34 total strikes thrown. That's the thing that's different about some of these sport bookies where you're betting on strike props. Some of these knockout artists you don't want to go too high. Michael only 34 significant strikes landed out of 57. And most of those shots, 27 of which hit into the head. Dumas was holding the shell. A couple of those shots started slipping through. And then Michael did a wonderful job of just posting up, going hard to the body, ripping back to the head. You can see the improvements already in his collaboration, his time training with the Fighting Nerds. Hits the glasses at the end. I think they have a new adopted foreign collaboration member here where I could see Michael doing some cool things with the Fighting Nerds moving forward, not just because of visa issues for his team and whatnot. So good win for him. He needed it. He had a tough go against Holland, obviously being too tough, having that arm break. Puts him in a tough position, but this was the one that he needed for sure. So I'll run this out real quick. All right. Moving up the card, Julian Erosa taking on Darren Elkins. Funny ass meme rolled through during the fights that I reshared out on that. You get a chance to check in the story. Yeah, I respect Erosa's finishing prowess. I respect his striking and his jiu-jitsu, his ground and pound, the ways that he hurts and opens up his opponents, and is very aggressive to also hunt for the finish and not just win via points. So I like Erosa fights by finish, for better or for worse. They generally do okay for me. And this one especially, Erosa secures the prelim parlay. As far as distance goes, nice way to open the card for me. And so we smacked that. And yeah, TKO round 1. Not too surprised. Yeah, I think that was a good one for Erosa. Elkins, in respects, both of these men have had long careers. Again, I like how Erosa seems to be aging. All right, speaking of the old dogs, Chase Hooper taking on Uncle Miller, who is good enough to hang with Hooper in the grappling world enough to survive the onslaught. I'm not expecting Miller to win these fights, but the fact that Chase has all these little tricks to like really pry and torque the shit out of your knee and bend the fuck out of your heel. Miller was put into a lot of threats, a lot of submission attempts that most of these guys would absolutely crumble under. So I want to give my flowers there to Miller, his fight veteranship, especially most octagon time and accumulating. Having Hooper not be able to finish you, despite he's got 4 minutes on your back and 3 minutes and, practically side control. It just goes to show you that Miller, he's game. He's about it. But not to take away from Hooper. We stayed away from props on a lot of this one. I was indifferent with distance on this. I know the props had Hooper so fucking high you would expect an early finish, but it was because of the well-roundedness and veteranship of Miller. I shied away from it for a degree. I ended up taking Hooper by a sprinkle via TKO or knockout because the prop was plus 560. And I've seen when he's posting up, prying, hitting ground and pound after trying to fish for a submission and getting a big pop in a reaction. But also when he pulls guard, he's very lethal off of his back when he pulls guard. He's using his range, just like we saw with Erosa, leaning back far, slicing with an elbow forward. He stays very active with it. I'm pulling up the notes that I have on this fight now. Said Hooper by points, plus 220. Faded by Miller with a sub at plus 2,000. You got to recognize 21 of those submissions. Miller has 21 pro submissions, and only 17% of his losses have come by way of submission, and the last being since Du Bronx of 2018. That was my notes. So I did say Hooper by points plus 220, Miller by sub plus 2,000. We actually do okay here as well. So moving up the card further, it was a great fight. I like Hooper's call out, like, hey, I like to get some younger guys. He's feeling the tension in the community. He's hearing the conversations. Way to take advantage of an opportunity and get a call out that could be a big make or break to some bad rap, right? If he wasn't aware of this or felt this himself, it could have looked bad if he got on and called out a vet not knowing. So, all right, moving up the card, Yan Xiaonan taking on Verna Jandiroba. I took Jandiroba right away in this fight. I didn't have to think it super hard about it. I know that Yan has had some tough times out in these grappling exchanges, and she shines mostly in some back and forth exchanges with her striking. She's fairly durable, hard to put away, and so generally I feel like her durability carries her into fights where her own power opens up opportunities for the TKO knockout in turn of eating some. I knew this fight with Jandiroba would be less of a striking affair. We'd spend some time together on the ground. Jandiroba is very quick to get into these positions. I think in the second round she already had hooks in and was working off back with about 4 minutes to spare. So Jandiroba, she goes out, she gets after it. She can eat a good amount of damage too. There were times that she was on her back, maybe trying to hit an up kick or just get into some better positioning off her guard after Jan's been able to pull away. And Jan was dropping down on Jandiroba with these massive, powerful shots that you could hear a good smack from her too. And Jandiroba stayed game and composed through all of that. So even under a gunfight, she's proved to be pretty durable, and she only adds to an already very impressive fight resume. So happy to see her get the win. She's at 22-3 now. Definitely worthy, and will be a title contender here after that win. Now, here's the final fight of the prelims. Aside from the judging with Mitch earlier, this one's a controversial one for me, the way I saw it. Dan Ige taking on Sean the Sniper Woodson. I thought Ige was winning via points throughout this fight, and that Ige's reality is that he needed a finish. I guess the scorecards had it for Ige somehow. Not sure what that's about, but I did see that Woodson getting dropped late in this fight, took a big shot from Dan Ige, started kind of circling off. He did have a decent amount of time to recover in all defense. It wasn't like Ige just put it on him with one tap and got a reaction and pummeled him. No, I mean, Woodson, size, movement, footwork, always doing things with his hands. He stayed pretty composed and was coming back, but, gained that equilibrium back. But Ige doing a good job working to the body some. Working to the body is a big thing against Woodson. Most people can't sit there in front of him without Woodson sniping him far away or him pushing off or using his feet and circling away. He was hurt, and so Ige going to the body the way he did, that's what folded Woodson, get him down to the ground. And I thought he was getting back to his feet all right. He was hurt. He was shook up, but he had recovered and was coming through. Right as Woodson put his feet underneath him to leap up to his feet, the ref had already started jumping in, and that was it. Third round finish, Dan Ige via bad stoppage / TKO. Ige, though, really humble about it. Really, really just happy in general. Like, I really needed this win. And yeah, I get it. 19-9. He could have been 18-10. And that's just hard to keep seeing, hard to keep doing in a division that certainly will surpass fighters of his physical and technical, talents. He's still live for some fun fights, but at the end of the day, these guys are here to push rankings and get title fights, right? So, from a job security standpoint, looks good. Father time again, Ige's been around. He's been game, so he's earned some stripes. Good to see him get that. That was like my first official upset pick of the card, but it's just sad it came in the way it did because that ref should have had no business stopping that fight. So between Mitch's judge, that official stoppage, not too happy about that. We can improve this and do much better. All right, moving up the card, Nikita Krylov taking on Dominic Reyes. I saw a lot of people high on Nikita. I didn't disagree. I like Nikita's speed, his tempo, the way he just throws himself out there with taking those risky leaping jumps and kicks and so forth. That was the thing that lost him this fight, is Krylov putting himself out in such a way where when being countered, he's eating all that velocity that he's lunging and springing towards Reyes. So Reyes finding the timing with this left, it was like a left hook that he kept countering over at Nikita's onslaughts, the kick attempts, the punch attempts. Reyes had found a few times in this fight where it hit. I know one time it had Nikita pretty stumbled and wobbly on the feet for 2 seconds like he was slipping on oil. Regained his composure. Both men re-engaged. Fight proceeds, and here we are. First round finish, slaps. We said distance, no. And I also had fight ends by knockout. So if either fighter wins by a knockout, that hits 2. So that was a fun, easy one. And Dominic Reyes is back. Krylov, that was a tough one out for you. Dominic Reyes is live. We'll see what nice matchmaking can come of this. Could see it come eventually a run back with Yuri would be cool, but he's got some game competition, Roundtree, Hill, some other decorated strikers. Looking forward to that. All right, moving up the card further, Bryce Mitchell taking on Jean Silva. Huge star power fight. Fighting nerds trying to defend the record. Bryce Mitchell, battle of good versus evil. The spiritual tension going into this one. You know, if true, obviously, we're being told it's affecting Bryce's quality of sleep, the temptations, and fighting with his religion, which we know carries this man. If all true, then yeah, Bryce having a very hard time getting through this fight, but putting more on stake, more on the marbles than ever, and wanting to cast out this darkness. You know, Silva, tick-tock, practitioner, knockouts, finishes. Had numerous times where he had Bryce's head tucked in that guillotine, going for a ninja choke a few times. Absolutely having no problem shoving off these very weak and pathetic single leg attempts by Mitchell. We all expected much more in this world. If Jourdain can show up and do his job and ragdoll Silva around, surely in this, short, brief time in between, we would see Mitchell be able to implement what he did with Barbosa and some of these other guys of just dominant striking, with the leg kicks, of course, but waiting for those opportunities for the takedowns, but actually getting them. All we had from Mitchell this fight was leg kicks. Kept the first round a little bit closer, but going into second and third, Silva was the one making the adjustments, and yeah, Mitchell was learning that he wasn't going to win in some of these areas that he's used to bullying his opponents. So, very fun fight. Bryce quick to hit social media afterwards and let us know that we're all okay. He's all okay. This and that. So good on him. I haven't been able to watch the presser, but obviously Gene's having tons of time with the spotlights in the media. Again, very big fight there. Was a bit of a pick 'em for me, even though the Silva knockout I was more than confident would be the way it would happen. So what's beautiful about this is I just took distance no, and I had only some sprinkles on Mitchell by submission and Silva by knockout. So the distance no proceeds. That's the safe one. That's the big parlay one. It's a 9-leg and we're cooking. Moving into the next fight on the main card. Yair Rodriguez taking on Patricio Pitbull. I had Rodriguez in this fight via money line. I respected the fact that he could get the finish, he could get the choke, but he also could just ride this out and be safe because Rodriguez is flashy and he's fun, sure, but when he's winning a fight, he's not really taking all those risks and still hunting the finish. He kind of leans a bit more on his grappling and kind of shies away. In this fight, Rodriguez was doing good with his kicks. Pitbull, tough, being able to eat some of these shots. We all know that Yair Rodriguez is just one of those guys. He's going to use his elbows, he's going to use his knees, and he's going to use those kicks. So, not an elitist in all areas, but a complete fighter and being disciplined and being able to mix them. So, was confident with my pick on that. I like the physicality matchup, the size, the speed. Pitbull was live for a knockout at any point in this fight. I mentioned that Rodriguez has been finished like 60+% of his fights via TKO or knockout, and that Pitbull throwing the way he does, that would be the key to victory. But as far as a long grind using the 15 minutes, we were correct. Yair Rodriguez takes it, and I stayed away from distance on this fight. Moving up to your co-main, Michael Chandler taking on Patty the Batty Pimblett. And man, does this one at least age well for us this weekend. The fight got announced. I called Patty by finish immediately. Not by submission, by finish. Because I respect what Patty's able to do with his ground and pound and the things that his opponents are having to do to survive the choke. Patty is a true finisher. He goes out. He's guns a-blazing in terms of setting up those submission opportunities, implementing some striking that opens up his will. he is typically out of there in the first or second round, for better or for worse. We've seen a lot of his fights have a first round, have some key moments, crowds on their feet cheering, and now we're going into a second or a third where we see that dominance. But Paddy is going up in opposition. We all know that Chandler has the one-hitter quitter power. Could totally put Paddy out. Paddy's not the most solid defensive guy. We're just going off this, phrase, Housers don't get knocked out. Or again, if you're Cody Garbrandt, you might say sorcerers don't get knocked out. But either way, Paddy gets it done. We get the finish. And the final leg for our, what was it, like 70 to 1 prop parlay, along with 3 others, 2 of which had Diego by knockout, 1 of which Diego knockout 1, 2, or 3. But the rest were hammered mostly on distance. No. Respecting that it could be a late finish. See how the cardio plays out. Both guys going at it early and hunting for a finish. Neither guy's going to be okay going to the scorecard. So Diego was the one behind on the scorecards. Volkanovski succeeding in the overall volume, but the rounds themselves were 2-2 going into the 5th and final round. Diego having huge success at the end of the second, dropping Volkanovski, following up with a flurry, and Volkanovski literally getting saved by the bell. So that was kind of like my shining moment, is having my slip in my hand, looking down on it, still looking at that third round like we're live, knowing that there's no way this fight goes to the judges with both men dropping and swinging and going crazy the way they are. The big thing I'm going to knock Lopez on is he depends on his hands too much. He doesn't mix in his kicks or his knees enough. I'd like to see Lopez work in clinches and use that frame and that length that he has. He does a good job of crossing the void, but once you've seen how he sets up, plants his feet, and swings from kind of that lower stance, that almost like big hooks that go a little extra wide for whatever reason watching him. I'm sure it's just a physical thing with how long and snappy he is, winding his body close and his guard tight, but he just has these big meaty hooks, and I feel like there's some trajectory to the way that Diego Lopez throws this. And I said in my breakdown, I'm not worried about it coming from Volk, although I respect the boxing prowess of Volkanovski. But if for any reason Diego was to move up into a timeline where he was to fight at lightweight and for whatever reason cross paths with Gaethje, for instance, I don't expect this to happen, but that's the kind of fighter that I think shuts Diego down by a finish, because that uppercut has a lot of opportunities to find home. Diego plants his feet, ducks his head low, and just swings wildly, chasing Volk, trying to cross the void, Volk trying to reset. I've seen him throw some vicious, like, hammer strikes of a sort. I'd like to see Lopez use those limbs better. Let's throw some elbow strikes out there. Let's keep working on those outside and inside leg kicks. And let's let something hurt and zap our opponent to then follow up and go for that flurry. Trying to cross the void and offer the same gunfight for 25 minutes, unfortunately, was the result of Volkanovski becoming champion for all those who expected Diego. I covered in my breakdown that in my heart, I want Volkanovski to win, but in my brain, I think given the fact that champions don't come back, have a successful, and new become champion again kind of run, I got to go off statistics and what my brain's telling me, and it's that Diego's the new era, and we'll be witnessing the torch being passed to Diego Lopez from Volkanovski. But Volkanovski, being a dog, was used to being the dog for a long time until he became a popular fan-loved favorite in a lot of his matchups, going back to his old ways. Thought we'd see, because of his training with Craig Jones, because of his training with Aljo, and all these other collaborations we had seen out of Bangkok, Dennis Bazooka, that we were just going to see, Volk try to protect his chin better, try to avoid the gunfights, and not risk having that young gun come in and just snap and put him on this 3-loss skid by finish. Volkanovski ended up being really patient at range. He's really good despite the size indiscrepancies between him and his opponents. He finds his kicks, his outside and inside kicks, and he's quick with popping the jab and some boxing. So he's mixing the levels. He's quick with it and circling off. He doesn't stay put for too long. He does eat some shots, but he's able to weather them. You could see throughout this fight early the brow of Volkanovski getting cut, him touching it repeatedly. You could tell it was bothering him. Fight's not getting stopped. We proceed, and this is what eventually opened up that knockdown by Lopez. That had he been able to finish with that short flurry, I would have had somewhere around $20 between a couple different parlays, cash out at 350. If Lopez would have won by knockout in the first, second, or third round, that parlay on top of the distance would have hit. So again, we keep things low risk around here. We have fun. For me, I'd rather spend a few dollars and be able to verify the hard work, research of time breakdown and fight predictions more accurately than to have, you know, the here's all the wager in the major wagers that I made, and maybe it was a good night, maybe it was a bad night, but the difference of that could result in being, you know, down several units. So we keep it light, we keep it fun, we keep it entertaining. The prelims were aced. We made some money tonight, but more importantly, we got to witness a very fun highlight night full of knockouts, highlight night full of finishes, and a fight that I'm happy to see Diego and Volk both have on their resumes, to be able to say 5 minutes of that. There's certainly a lot other, you know, championship bouts that were far less interesting. This one kept it interesting. I will say that Volkanovski showed up and looked about his best, and Diego just didn't. So I'm curious to hear what issues he had with Volkanovski, why he was slugging for home runs throughout the entire fight instead of implementing some grappling and tripping and attempts to get this fight to the ground, where I'd expect Diego to just floor and at least open up opportunities. But overall, had an amazing fight night. It was fun having a friend swing through. So if you're part of the live stream process, sorry the microphone goes muted, but we switched to speakers and protect the audio from copy reasons. So the fight companion was up. We were clicking off mute a few times here and there, doing just brief catch-ups, but more importantly, wanted to do the formal fight breakdown. So for part of this video, due to audio reasons, you might have missed like the first breakdown or two. If you're interested in that, please check out my IG. But most of you watching this are going to be on IG. So we had the prop. Do I get the haircut of Volkanovski or Diego? The winner, or the requirement of this was 100 subs on YouTube. So we are short of that. I don't have an unofficial timeline on this, but let's just call it by Monday at the latest. If I don't have the 100 subs, then I guess I'm not forced to do shit. But if I get the 100 subs by Monday, then we'll consider it, right? We'll get the Volk due. So had a lot of fun on the breakdown. Friend came through. Brother was calling me. Gonna have a lot of catching up with him there. He's thinking, you know, Patty could have a shot at Islam now. That'd be crazy too. So a lot of fight analysis to continue. A lot of things to break down. Again, I can't say it enough. We had a fantastic UFC 314. Couple fight nights to go. Hit and miss cards. Cannot wait for UFC 316. Some of these other upcoming pay-per-views. Looking very much forward to that. We'll go through further. Go through some props, some highlights there. Some more cards. We got some projects in the work for y'all. So enjoy this one. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you next time. Peace. Make sure you hit the subscribe, or I get to keep the hair. There we go. There we go. I gotta go back and see exactly how much of the audio we missed in the beginning there due to just a brief mic muted issue on my end. But I think that was all right. I think I'm even happy with the IG cut at the very least. But I at least want to give some feedback and recaps on the bigger nights like tonight for sure. This changed a lot of placements in the rankings in some of these fights tonight as well. Like Genderoba again, she was Third seed taking on number 1 seed in Yan Shannan, so that's pretty crazy. See where this audio kicks in finally. Misses out on a bit here. Let's see. I might have the option to do some audio voiceovers. That's audio detach. Let's see. Recording, create. Audio. There we go. See, I don't like this though because I can't do the audio over that the best. I'm going to end this and upload that as a breakdown. We'll resume the live stream from here. Just wanted to clip that part. If you are hanging out, yeah, look forward to the restream here in a second. Thanks for hanging. Peace. There. I know we're still streaming on YouTube. I just wanted to get that recording done out of the way, both locally and here. So, I'm pretty happy with that breakdown. Damn. keyboard on the tablet just kind of finally died on me here. This keyboard's died on me. Oh well. Finally get the Cinderella story. Alright, well. First part of that breakdown, I'm actually going to expand the audio over from IG because sure enough we had our mic muted there. But yeah, just to quickly recap. There you go. There's the video recap there, so that saves. It's downloading now. Good. I'll post that up onto YouTube here in a moment. Trying to give quicker reaction time to recap videos after events versus waiting till like a late Sunday night or a Monday. At that point, we want to know what's going on next week. So yeah, recap video recorded. I don't mind doing that live stream. I hope anyone who got to participate in that got to see kind of my process of going through my notes, my ability to recollect what I did. My notes for this card ended at Hooper. Headphone calls coming through. Nice little unexpected appearance from a buddy. Watching the fights, had a good time. Definitely all delivered, so. Got a lot of media stuff to do. I'm going to be just jamming out to media, UFC interviews, other fight breakdowns and recaps, see who hit what. Do a lot of that socializing between the next few days. But I'm going to do some much needed, just go with the flow, grind out something, play some Path of Exile or some Monster Hunter here tonight. Maybe a little bit of both. Finish Act 2 if I'm not feeling Path of Exile at the end of Act 2. I might transition over and yeah, enjoy some MMA Guru and whoever else is posting, because tonight's content's got to be fucking hilarious to a degree. Yeah, we had a good ass time. This was a great card. I have said it so many times already, but yeah, this was a good one to be part of for tonight for sure. So, see where the video download is. We chopped out the audio that was muted and erased the video. We had just done a quick unmute. Started back from Erosa, went back down through the fights before, recapped them briefly. Lots of salad. We got some good action on IG today. couple new people joining in through the streams, enjoying the stories, giving some love. So we've had a good fight week. Nice crossing paths with a lot of y'all. If you're watching this, thanks for checking me out. We are shy 8 people of UFC. Sorry, of 950 followers on IG. Yesterday now, but technically today for me because I haven't been asleep yet. Marked the 1-year anniversary of UFC 300. So I got all kinds of like memories and things I want to share and post that had popped up earlier. Just didn't have the time to. So gonna be going through that maybe tomorrow as well as a nice little bonus. UFC 300 carries over to UFC 313. What an amazing time of the year, filled with many highs and lows, but nonetheless, some of the most unforgettable MMA memories, UFC memories, have seemed to happen this time of the year. I'll always look forward to spring MMA. Just around Easter, it just seems that we get that really big send-off before a brief little break. You know, we don't do a lot of these breaks, so just quick little in-betweens. Hopefully the audio quality is still okay. We're doing a video right now is exporting, so figured maybe I'd have a little audio issue or two depending on the connectivity. Looks like everything's good. Get my graphic lined up there for Path of Exile. We're not ready for it yet, but it's ready to go. I'm going to get X going one more time. I'll try to see if we get any reactions or posts. Sorry, we're just about done with that video. Yeah. Video just got uploaded. Let me see exactly what folder we're in here. Alright. So this will be UFC 314 recap video. We're going to move that to the correct folder here as well. %, converted, so just about done there with that. Yeah. Thanks for bearing with me. If you're hanging out live, we're just getting some final finishing touches up here on the video I was going to post. Giving my full breakdown on the card. Try to get it up early. Trying to do this, but be disciplined to like be productive to do a couple like said things. I have a lot of fun dinking off, but then it's like, all right, let's pump some content of my own out, you know. UFC 314 full fight recap, fight breakdown, reaction. Bald bet if I go bald if 100 sub by Monday. Volk W. I made a challenge to get to 100 subs by Monday, or else I have to copy the haircut of winner Volk versus Diego, assuming it would be trimming. Yeah. So now I'm taking this content here, taking the previous tags, all the links, all the posts, all the handles, because I don't want to type that shit multiple times. Added a new message in addition. We're taking the thumbnail now, which is a fun one. If I could find the one I'm looking for though. Let's see, UFC 314, there it is. Made for kids? No. New playlist. I'll call it UFC fight breakdowns, reactions, bets, picks. Alright, so that video is posted now as well. The only thing I'm missing real quick here, so I just need to hit it with a few tags. So UFC 314, UFC Diego Lopez, Alexander Volkanovski, Alex Volkanovski, and then just Volkanovski, and new UFC Miami, MMA Toad, fight predictions, fight recap, fight bets, MMA, UFC capper, UFC sniper, parlay, long shot, finish, KO, sub, decision, method, streamer, challenge, haircut, bald, emo, picks, UFC cards, trading cards, fight companion, Patty, the Patty, Pimblett, Bryce Mitchell, Fighting Nerds, Gene Silva. And so yeah, that looks pretty good. That's a bunch of tags there. That gets that video on the map for just doing a quick fight recap. I probably could have done that a couple hours sooner. Had a good time catching up with a homie and stuff that swung through. So anyways, just part of the live stream. We're back now. Got an hour into this, a little bit of some production. You got to hear live, of course, now. The fight breakdown. The video is now being posted. If you're chiming in, you're late to watch that. You want to hear my perspective on the card. I'm going to speak very highly of this card the rest of the year. So it was a great UFC pay-per-view. So very happy about that. Videos uploading now. We're going to transition, play some Path of Exile, I'm thinking here. So we'll end up just going off of the full webcam here in a minute. Let's see if I do just webcam off. Here we go. So be off on this, and then logo. Yeah, because webcam's everything, right? So I do maybe the breakdown one. Yeah, we'll just stream on the breakdown one. You switch back to this, then we'll do webcam on for this one. Yeah, it looks good. So we'll transition scenes. We'll do the gameplay from here in a minute. But deal is a deal, boys. You guys didn't fulfill the challenge. You guys you're missing 28 subscribes. We are safe right now. We dodged a fucking bullet. See, and this, I want to edit the caption of this too real quick, if I can. I want to edit the caption of this stream, if possible, here. Let's see. UFC live recap. UFC 314. Bald at 100 subs. Volk. Challenge 1. Hair. Winner's haircut challenge. Volk 1. There we go. UFC 314 Bald Challenge at 100 subs. Volk 1. Winner's haircut challenge. I'll just take out the challenge part there. Winner. I match winner's haircut. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way of explaining it. Dude, absolutely fucking wild, man. Alright, we'll transition off of that screen now. I'll get the game pulled up here in a moment. So I'm not looking at stream inception. But yeah, we just did a full UFC 314 breakdown. Getting a video uploaded right now. Shows it's at 60%. That will cover the full card breakdown. Highlighting wager stakes, where I was at. We missed by one leg again, motherfuckers. This was 84-1 prop on one payout. Then I had a 30-1, a 20-1. All needed distance, no. Didn't matter how. But if by Diego, submission or knockout, especially in the first three. We ended up doing okay with some of these underdogs in early cycles. Again, we liked the Michael by knockout. We liked the Tulio by knockout. We had Moneyline, Rosa. We had E. Rosa by knockout or submission. Distance, no's. Fight with Woodson broke my prelim cycle. That would have slammed. That one missed because I had Woodson by decision. Ige, he gets it. He gets away with this one, but man, not happy with that stoppage, and neither was the commentators or the UFC. I've yet to watch the full fight press interviews, but I'm hoping to hear some on some of the judging, like whichever judge scored for Mitch earlier. With Sumaraji, was fucking wild. Like, dude didn't throw any punches and had wrestling that did nothing because Sumadari would just get back to his fucking feet, no problem. Continue to snipe away and land strikes. Mitch didn't do shit like that, just like Finney the previous week. You can't wrestle your way to an MMA victory. You have to throw strikes or show submission attempts for a finish. That is the objective of the fight, so that's my 2 cents on it. Of course, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not the one in there doing the damn thing, and so props to those guys who do. But from a fight analyst standpoint of like, well, what lost me in that fight, I have to bring up the fact that you can't be inactive with striking or threatening in submission and expect to win these fights in MMA. That is the bottom fucking line, and I hope we all can agree upon that. Now, this is the part of the stream where we're gonna have some good fun. I'm going to rip open some games, zone into the games, vibe off, depending on what I'm doing in the game, get some videos rolling. Again, always anticipating the Guru follow-ups to his UFC fight card events. Obviously, there's some backstage controversies going on between Covington and Patty. My rough take on Patty and Colby, by the way, backstage is that, well, Covington has to come down to 155 to try to talk shit and threaten because he's in no position to do it at 170. if the old dogs are getting flatlined and dragged out by the upcoming new guys, Covington especially isn't going to have success because even the old dogs was beating his ass minus Jorge. So anyways, Covington having some controversy with Patty. Smart from a marketing standpoint. That's his persona. That's his fight character. Piss off the people that have a lot of media outlets and attention. Bring that onto you. He also just loves to do this and talk shit and never follow through and fight people. So, is what it is. I like Patty a lot. If they were to fight, even though Patty would be smaller than Covington in terms of, who's at what weight, Patty fills 170 quite decently and would be able to both on the feet and in grappling put away Covington for sure. So I'd see Patty finishing Covington within 3 as well. And yeah, that's that. Hope you guys again enjoyed this UFC 314 card. I'm gonna grab a drink, it looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna grab a refreshment and we're gonna just vibe out and enjoy, like I said, kicking it to some media, doing some jamming, doing some gaming. Fire up the IG live stream one last time and have a final push. Looking up a card. Nickel. Phoenix. PSA. Checking out my redemption status on some cards right now. Panini is not doing shit, by the way. It's been about 120 days when I put this in. Yeah, it's been created. Not quite 120 days, but they're going to fucking drain it all the way down to the end. By the end of April, if I don't hear from them, then I need to reach out to Panini support on non-received redemption Islam and Izzy. One's also immaculate. But the Adesanya, immaculate collector. So that would have been a nice auto. And the Islam is a nationality match. It's a red out of 99 auto from the 2023 Donruss Optic. I hit on a weight class break. About $30 for a lightweight. Hit that card and some others. It's pretty happy for a case. Alright, so yeah. The videos are all posted now, man. I need to upload the shorts. The IG to short. Viewership improved a bit. Alright, cool. I'm done going over stream analytics for now, but happy to have some movement in both worlds after tonight. That was good. All right. Three finishes in a row from Erosa. Yeah, that dude's onto something for sure. Alright, well. I'll close these notes, but I'll save them up for now. We'll save these as part of YouTube, UFC 314, UFC 314 fighter notes, plus bets. There we go. I'm going to refire the restream real quick. I don't know how I started a local recording there. I'm fine without it. I didn't do anything. Oh, fuck. Well, there we go. There you go. Guru's recap video just hit. Perfect timing. Just so I don't have to get demonetized for it, I'm going to first, I know we've been live for an hour. You got to see the live recording of the recap video. Audio briefly muted. Went back, recapped the first three fights anyways. Covered every fight. Full everything on IG as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and watch. I want to hear Guru's take on it. And then from there we can focus on media clips and press conference shit afterwards. And just chill on game for the rest of the while. It is already pretty late for me, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'll at least get through Act 2 on Path of Exile. If I feel spontaneous from here, the energy says maybe some Monster Hunter. Chances are I'll have to dedicate some time to link up and play that one with some friends anyway. So, anyways, but that was a fucking fantastic pay-per-view, boys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You should be seeing me soon. If not, for whatever reason, that's what's up. Let's push that subscribe button. You guys were close. 72 of 100 subscribers required, and I will match Volkanovski's haircut, aka go fucking bald. So at age 35, the hair may not grow back. We'll never know. Unless you don't go, hey now, you're a rock star. Fuck up Diego, get paid. Volkanovski shows up, proves to the world he's the GOAT. Did his thing off the hiatus, back to back, getting knocked, facing those fears, asking those questions against a competitor in Diego. Now that speaks some volumes to me, son. So can't say it enough. Proud of the man. We all are tonight. Congratulations, Volkanovski. We'll catch y'all here again.